Welcome back to Real Estate Mindset. Today's video is going to be absolutely bonkers. You guys, good morning to you. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining me. I hope you guys are enjoying your morning and I hope you're enjoying your weekend. Couple different things we're going to do today. Actually, two special things we're going to do today, you guys. Other than just doing the housing market update, we'll listen to a few videos over the 5-year break even, the 10-year, the overnight repo market. We'll talk about soft landing. We'll talk about refinances, bank deposits. We'll do all of that. But the two special things we're going to do in addition, guys, is I'm going to open, there's Johnny. I'm going to open these three packages right here. You guys see these three packages? Johnny Fly, who I see you, Johnny. There you are. Johnny sent me these three packages, and I promised Johnny that I would open these packages live on the air. I have no idea what it is, you guys. And if you're wondering if I'm nervous about it, yeah, I'm nervous about it, but I love my man Johnny, so I'm going to do it. So the second thing we're going to do, special thing we're going to do today is we're going to go over the exercise once again on how to find a great deal. I get a lot of emails. I get a lot of comments on how to do this. So we're going to do that again today. It's going to be at the end of this video. It's going to be chaptered. So if you're a realtor or you have a realtor or you want to figure out how to find a great deal, we'll be doing that towards the end, basically looking at cash flow and wedge. And it should, and then, obviously also calculating the mortgage payment. And I'm going to be doing, basically showing you guys how to do that. So really looking forward to it, you guys. I'm going to start opening these packages like right before we do the first video. I'm going to go into the quote, then we'll quickly do the housing market update, you guys. But I just wanted to say good morning to everyone because I'm really happy and I really appreciate you guys joining me on your Sunday, on a morning Sunday, to learn about what's going on in the market. That's so flattering to me, you guys. I absolutely love teaching and empowering and giving additional perspective. I can't tell you how much I love it. I love it more than making money. That's why I'm making so much less. But good morning to my man, Florida Beach Bum. You were number one. And then I got my OG, Ben, from the beginning. Nice to see you, Ben. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. Vital, man, Vital. I love you, Vital. I'm sorry. You sound good this morning, Vital. Okay, you sound good. Sorry you're struggling, brother. But I love you, man. Hang in there, all right? Robert, it's nice to see you. There's my man, Johnny, Chris, Scrog, and Sheldon, and Todd, Robert, Mike, don't fight the Fed. You know this, Mike. 1 minute late. That's okay. Good morning to you, Scarlett. I am blessed. So are you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. All right, we're going to get started, guys. Really, again, I appreciate you being here. We're going to start, and I know this is a little bit corny. Again, I'm going to open this, but just give me a minute. I'll open that. But let's start with a quote, okay? So here's this morning's quote, and the reason I do this, I know it's super corny, but quite frankly, you guys, there's just too much hate and trolling in the world. So this is a great quote. This is from Nelson Mandela. I think it's good because there's a lot of fear going around in the market right now, a lot of fear in our culture right now. So again, Nelson Mandela, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. So basically what it's saying to me is without fear, there's no courage. If you are, going to be a person of courageousness, you have to conquer the fear. And honestly, you guys, at first I was pretty afraid about everything that was going on, especially because there's a couple similarities of what's going on now to the Great Depression. But the thing is I'm not crippled in fear, right? I'm aware of what's going on. When I'm aware of what's going on, I can do something about it. And really that's what that quote is saying to me. It's okay. If things seem scary, it's okay. Life is scary. I mean, seriously, think about it. I mean, I was thinking about the dinosaurs this morning and the comments and all that type of stuff. Anyway, so what we're going to do, we're going to start on our housing market update, you guys. And where I want to start is basically, I'm going to access Redfin data here in a second, but I'm super excited because I sat here, guys, and if you guys did not watch my Redfin update video, you should, by the way, watch my Redfin update video, but we have finally hit median sales price decline. You guys know that I've been saying end of June, beginning of July through end of August that would start, okay? It started. It actually started 2 weeks ago. I was actually only 1 week late, okay? So that's really good. And what I'm saying, guys, and probably what's going to happen from this point forward in the real estate market, we're probably going to see, again, at a different pace, depending on your metro area, depending on your city, this is going to play out differently. Okay, we know that, but we're probably going to see prices, median sales price, go down from here on out till probably the end of February. Now, here's the thing, and I'm going to tell you now. Here's how we know if the housing market's like full-fledged, like crashing, okay? We can't look at the remaining part of this year. Well, we can look at the remaining part of this year because there could be a whole bunch of black swans, but really what we need to like watch is what happens in 2024 around March. If 2024 around March, we can break seasonality, the housing market's crashing, okay? This year, we didn't break seasonality. I think there was about 6 reasons why, 5 to 6 reasons why that was, but we didn't break seasonality. But I am telling you guys more than likely, and we'll watch this on Redfin every single week. I'll do a video just like I did when it was going up, and I hated doing those videos, but I wanted to report to you guys honest information. House prices are going to go down from now until February at least. And also on top of that, you guys, supply. I'm not talking about active units, although that will go up, but supply, also active units are going to be going up from now till probably October, okay? Watch, you guys will see this. This happens all the time, and it's going to be inflamed this year. But let me show you what I'm talking about in chart form, all right? So here's Redfin right here, you guys. This is median sales price. So here's the crazy thing about Redfin. We actually had 2 back-to-back weeks of decline. I didn't tell you guys about the first decline because it was only $50, and it hit the first week of year-over-year price increase was 2 weeks ago. But there was actually a loss of $50 to median sales price. So this is actually going down. Again, super shady of Redfin not to show the decline. They're only showing a plateau, and I know it's only 2 weeks. But the thing is, guys, is median sales price went down $1,250 week over week this week, which annualized is $60,000 or around 14 to 15%. So we should see the trajectory. That's what I'm saying. We should see the trajectory. We don't, but sales prices, again, median sales price. I'm not talking about like value like Zillow and Case-Shiller. I'm talking median sales price is going to go down more than likely on average from now till next February. Okay, let me show you guys months of supply, not active units. Okay, is Johnny still on? All right, is Jeff there? Jeff, there's Jeff. Jeff, okay. Johnny sent me something, Jeff. Do not leave until you see what Johnny sent me. Johnny sent me something. I'm going to open it on the live, Jeff, all right? And Jeff, where's my interview, guys? I want to interview you guys. Anyone want to join the live? Comment if you guys want to join the live. But here's, let me move my picture so you guys can see this. Look at months of supply available on the market. It's almost like I called this, right? Again, my bad about not calling when the recession would start. I was like, everything was like perfect until March. I remember that day because me and Jeff were talking like all day. Like, my God, I can't believe the banks are getting bailed out. But look at this. Look at the months of supply. Look at this. Shooting up, okay? Thank God, just like I told you guys would probably happen right around this time. So that's been shooting up. Again, that's probably going to shoot up, I would say probably at least till October. Now, you guys can see in 2022, months of supply kept going up. Do you guys see that? That was like not seasonal. So maybe it will continue to go up, but I'm definitely saying probably now until like right here, which is October, that's going to go up. So again, prices going down, inventory going up for the remaining part of the year, more than likely. And again, you guys don't forget what I'm saying. That's on average, right? And I forgot to do the timestamp. I'm going to do the timestamp real quick. Okay. And again, on average. So let's go on over to our next thing. And you guys can access this data yourself easily. Let's start now with the 10-year. A lot of movement on this 10-year. We track the 10-year to look at interest rates, but we ended Friday. This is all Friday's ending data. Wait till we look at the 5-year break even and the inversion. The data is so crazy, you guys. But anyways, we're going to start with this 10-year. I'm getting to these boxes. We're going to start with this 10-year. 10-year is at 3.841. I believe that inched down slightly on Friday. Not much, still fairly high considering where we were before, obviously. But look at mortgage rates, you guys. Mortgage rates are still sitting at 6.98. So basically 7% going into the weekend. So anyone that locked on Friday or anyone locks on Monday is probably going to lock around 7% depending on their loan criteria, obviously, right? So anyways, you guys, that's a quick update. We're going to move on to our first video, but let me open this package real quick. Okay, I'm going to open this package. So we're going to go into our first video, which is going to be about refinancing, about how great refinancing is going to be. But after this video, I'm going to be pulling up the Fed Watch tool, but I'm also going to be pulling up amortization schedules and an interest payment schedule so that I can show you like refinancing is not something that you necessarily want to do because you start the whole loan over again. Okay, so I'm going to go over that. I'm actually going to put out a video, a rent versus own video. This stuff is crazy. If you're going to get a loan, Jeff didn't get a loan. Okay, Jeff didn't get a loan. Understand that. But some of this information is absolutely bonkers, you guys. But let me open this first one right here. Okay, so this is from Johnny. Like I said, you guys, I have no idea what's in here. Let me open the first one. No way, bro. Johnny, no way. I'm just kidding, guys. He didn't get me that. I wish he got me that. Do you know how nice that lens is, guys? That lens is so nice right there. I'm sorry. All right. Let's see what we got here. I know it, Johnny. All right. So we got our first gift here. Johnny has got me, you guys. Dave Ramsey. Thanks, Johnny. Johnny knew that I was actually out of kindling for my fireplace. So, thank you for the kindling for my fireplace. Johnny, that's a good one, Johnny. That's a good one. So can't wait to see what else you got me, buddy. That's funny, Johnny. That's funny. We're going to get started. Hold on. Let me just clear. Let's clear. I said, Johnny, it's going to be the dog, the dog grooming guy, but hold on. I got to start this video. All right. So we're going to go into the first video right now, you guys. I'm really trying to just keep it together right now. I have to reset this video, but first of all, as this is playing, I just want to say, Johnny, thank you. Thank you. I know if you didn't care, you wouldn't have sent that. So here's the other thing, you guys. I'm going to open this right here. Johnny said open this last. So I'll be opening that last. All right, here's the video. Let me rewind it real quick. We're going to turn the audio up. Now, this first video, guys, remember, this one's going to be about refinancing. After this video, I'm going to tell you guys basically how it's kind of bad to refinance. Let me know if the audio is okay, if you guys don't mind. And enjoy.
Speaking of UWM, it's the largest home lender in the U.S., and I spoke exclusively with UWM Chairman and CEO about the housing market, lending standards, and the NBA's Phoenix Suns, which he purchased just earlier this year. I started by asking him if housing has, in fact, already seen a bottom.
I don't know if the bottom's in, but I guess I don't think it's really hitting the bottom. I think we've actually been fine. I don't think it's gone on this huge tank. People think values are going down. Values aren't going down. People are still bidding on properties. There's still supply and demand issues. So bottom, I don't know if we actually hit a bottom. I think we're actually in a good market. I think people are buying houses, and I think it's going to continue even through the winter.
What do you think is more impactful in terms of the state of housing right now? Is it the affordability issue or is it the availability issue? And I guess as long as those two things exist, do we see anything different than the dynamic that exists currently?
Yeah, obviously there's less houses for sale. Everyone wants to talk about that. But the reality is people are buying houses, and more, it's hard to move out of a house. If you have a 4% rate or 3% rate, people don't want to move as quickly. So there's less house on the market is what a lot of people say. But the honest truth is we've seen consistent growth in people buying homes more than you'd expect.
It's a buying problem.
In the last 6 months when people are thinking it's going to be a down year and everything's going to be.
Yep.
We just had our all-time record purchase quarter in the second quarter, like all-time record. It's never been done. It's still happening out there. Business.
Y'all hear what he's saying? Y'all hear what's the bigger problem here? The supply or the buying? Y'all hear what he's saying? The problem's the buying, you guys. That's so toxic right now. It's not necessarily the supply, although that is inflaming the buying problem. I'm sorry for interrupting. It's almost done.
This is moving and people are buying homes.
So what does that mean for the trajectory, not only of the Fed, where the expectation in the market right now is that we get one more rate hike next week, and then maybe we're done, but what does it also mean for mortgage rates?
Mortgage rates are where they're at. I think they're going to be between 6 and 7%. That's what we've all been talking about, maybe 7.25%. But they will drop at some point. The way I tell people, if you're buying a house, 30-year fixed rate, that's the highest your payment will ever be.
Yeah, the spread between the bond and mortgage market remains pretty wide. It's almost double its historical average. What do you attribute that to? And is that a dynamic that is going to, fix itself anytime when you think about quantitative tightening or you think about banks rethinking their investment portfolios?
Yeah, it's a great point. A lot of people don't talk about what you just referenced is at all-time highs right now, that spread. And so with rates being high and that being an all-time high, that's why mortgage rates are so high, right? Tying that. So one of those two things drops, mortgage rates will drop. There'll be a lot of refinancing and the mortgage market will really pick up and people can save money in their mortgage. Right now, it's been 2 years of rates basically between 6 and 7%. So that's $3-4 trillion worth of mortgages. Those people are ready and willing to refinance and lower their payment and save money, which then spurs economic development across the country. If you save $100 on your mortgage, I save $100 on my mortgage. What do I use that money for? That helps the whole economy. So I think a lot of that stuff comes. I just don't know when.
The last time you were on CNBC was actually early March. So it was before everything that happened with SVB and all the regional bank turmoil. has the lending market, and I guess has it contracted? Has it contracted enough?
You know, I think there were some weird things going on with those banks and a lot of things that were anomalies, one-off things. I don't think much has changed from that. I don't think there's, are there controls in place? Like, I think the mortgage market, people like to reference 2008, the big crash. Nothing like that's happening anymore. Like the market, the CFPB, give them credit. The markets are stable and strong. The mortgage market's strong. Are there going to be blips and random things that happen? Absolutely, just like in any industry. But I feel like the housing in America, the mortgage market in America is really strong right now, and it's only going to get stronger for the next 12, 24 months.
So have you seen?
All right, guys. So he's thinking that the mortgage market is going to get stronger, even though the rates are going up. I don't see how the mortgage market would get stronger when the rates are high. But one of the things that he's pointing out is when rates go down, pretty much, okay, depending on how much they go down. But let's say they go down to like in the 5%. Pretty much everyone that bought post 2022 or like, mid 2022 and on is going to refinance. So the problem with doing that, guys, is, and I really want to make this point, is just depending on how long you've been paying your existing loan, just remember the first 5 years of a loan is generally a waste of money. So generally you're going to just be paying interest. And when you refinance, you start the clock all over again. So the reality of like the cost of refinancing, y'all, it's a lot more expensive, I think, than most people realize when you really equate in, starting the amortization schedule again. And let me remind you guys real quick, let me throw this up here. If you guys get a $300,000 house, excuse me, just only a $300,000 house, remember, if you get an interest rate at 6.875, the first 5 years, you're paying $95,000 in interest. If it's 7.25, you're paying $100,000 in interest. You guys look at this. And if you guys pay for 5 years, guess what? You've paid off $18,000 of your loan. That's it. In 5 years, you guys pay $18,000 of your loan off. Again, this is at, $300,000, or I'm sorry, the loan is $290, purchase price $300,000, that's a 7% interest rate. But you guys see what I'm saying? I mean, this is not a slam dunk anymore. When the rates were at 3 and 4%, it was really easy to say that renting was the best thing to do, Now let's look real quick, guys, at the CME Fed Watch tool. This is pretty much a lockdown. This is going to go in once again to the interest rate hikes coming up from the Federal Reserve. Now, obviously, July is locked. We're locked down July. The Fed's going to raise pretty much everyone thinks the Fed is going to raise interest rates 25 basis points when they meet this week. This is actually a really, really big week. We're going to get a data dump this week, so I'll be all over it, y'all. I'm not going to be able to do lives all week. I'm going to try to do 2 next week. I'm super slammed next week. So that's why I'm also doing a live on Sunday. Usually I wouldn't do that. Let's look at September. Market's not pricing in a second rate hike. You can see only 15.9% likelihood of September. Let's look at November. Still low in November. This got up to around 40%, sitting at 27.8. In December, sitting at 24.7. Basically, what all that means, y'all, is the market's not pricing in a second rate hike. So probably this week, when the Federal Reserve talks to us, they'll probably update those charts. So it'll probably get better or worse. But when the Federal Reserve gives us more indication of what they're going to do moving forward, that will probably update. So we're going to go into our second video, which is going to be on soft landing. Okay. And again, after this soft landing video, you guys, we're going to go into like the break-even inflation reports that got actually surprisingly worse, which doesn't make a lot of sense. It's actually a big deal to the Federal Reserve. So first, let me open this second book. I don't know if it's a book, second package from Johnny real quick. Let's see what we got. Oh my gosh. This one's even better, y'all. Can't believe it. Oh, man, Johnny is on one. Kramer. Man, look at this, guys. Just all the characters, all the usual suspects. Hey, Johnny. Appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that a lot. Again, I'm low on kindling. Real quick, guys. Thank you, Johnny. I appreciate that. I want to pull up some comments. Some people brought up some good stuff about credit. Here's Scarlett. Okay. Is my focus okay? There it is. Okay. Here's a comment from Scarlett. Thank you for commenting. So I can't talk. Scarlett said that she paid off 3 credit cards as a result of the book. But I would argue, Scarlett, you paid off 13 credit cards because of your tenacity. But point taken. Scarlett liked that book. Now, here's the thing. After that comment, there was a dialogue that I wanted to talk about since I've been in credit repair for, like 18 years, and I know exactly how credit works. Okay, so Bluebird said, Scarlett, don't close your cards. Keep a balance of $5 to $10 on each. It will raise your score. Here's the thing, okay? Dave Ramsey drives me crazy when it pertains to how to use your credit to get ahead. He's just like, don't use your credit. But I'm about how to use your credit to get ahead. I get paid $300 to $400 a month because I have good credit. Do you guys? If not, you should be. Now, here's the thing. When you close your credit card, it will typically harm your credit score. You are not supposed to close your credit cards. So all the credit cards I have, if say I had like $5,000 credit card, no way, no chance I'm going to close it after it's paid off. Again, when you close your credit card balances, it will typically harm your credit. Do not forget that. But props, Scarlett, and then there's another one right here. So the thing is, Florida, like I get it. Like here's the thing, if you got millions of dollars and you don't need your credit, do whatever you want. But if you're like me and you don't have millions of dollars and you need your credit, you don't want to close them. And then Jeff is talking here, basically going forward, don't spend more than 10% of your limit. Okay, that's good. And then pay the bill in full before it's due. So important, okay? That 10% is what's called utilization ratio. You're not supposed to go over 30% of your credit line. If you go over 30% of your credit line, your score goes down. Okay. Now, after it's under 30%, there's tiers of improvement. So it's like the first tier is like 29.9, then goes down to 10. But the thing is, guys, you don't want to even play the percentage game. Just don't use your credit cards, but one purchase a month. Buy a stick of gum, and then when it bills, pay the whole thing off. But one thing that Jeff is saying that's really, really important. This is how I win on my credit cards. This is how I win. I can't pay my rent, but I almost charge all of my expenses on my credit card. As a result of me charging my expenses on my credit card gives me cash back. The trick is to really capitalize on that cash back is you pay the entire balance off before it bills. And don't forget, whatever's on the bill is what's ported to the bureaus, the credit bureaus. So if you're wondering when your credit report updates, it's when it bills. So hopefully you like that. Man, I got Kramer and Dave Ramsey all over the floor now. Jeez Louise. All right, let's go into the next one, you guys. We're going to go into the soft landing. We're going to go into the soft landing, you guys. I hope you actually, you know what? I'm going to do it like this. Okay. So here's our soft landing video. I hope you guys enjoy. Shoot up some more comments. You guys got some good ones.
Wells Fargo senior economist. What are you concerned about, Sarah?
Well, I think we're still concerned about just the ongoing squeeze we're going to be seeing on consumers and businesses as we head throughout this year. And the Fed is nowhere near looking at a point where they're actually going to start cutting rates. So I think even as you're seeing improvement on inflation, that also means that you're going to be seeing passive tightening. And we think that's still going to put consumers and businesses in a pretty tough position. And maybe prospects for a soft landing have improved, but we still think it's going to be a very sluggish pace of growth going forward.
It all makes sense, but it's also the argument that has been used for the last now year and a half, since March 2022 when they started hiking interest rates. And against all odds, the consumer has held up really well, and the unemployment picture has also remained quite strong.
Right, but I think we are starting to see some more cracks on both fronts. So if you look at the labor market, for example, we have seen hiring downshift. So, over the first half of this year, we saw 280,000 jobs added per month. That's down from about 450 a year ago for that same time period. We are also seeing other signs like the average work week come down. And I think generally speaking, less catch-up hiring to do. And then when we look at the consumer, so consumer spending has, of course, been augmented by those excess savings, by consumers tapping credit. But those savings are beginning to run dry. We're seeing consumers less willing to access what remaining excess savings exist. And of course, credit has tightened substantially in the consumer space. And we're now seeing both revolving and non-revolving credit growth slow. So I think some of the factors that have augmented the spending picture are beginning to dwindle. And that is contributing to that squeeze on consumer spending that we expect.
So what kind of growth numbers then do you expect to see into the end of the year and next? And are you below consensus because of that view?
Yeah, so I think right now, consensus has still been pretty downbeat, if anything, looking for a recession perhaps earlier than we are. So we think that the economy can can continue to expand through the second half of this year, but it's going to be at a pretty tepid pace. So, probably GDP growth under 1%. And we're looking for what's likely to be a mild downturn at the start of next year, as you do see some pullback in consumer spending, particularly in that durable goods space. And we do likely see that unemployment rate begin to rise and contributing to consumers getting more cautious on that spending front.
I mean, the one thing, Sarah, is you just don't hear it from a lot of the consumer companies yet, that they expect, some sort of sharp deterioration. And if anything, we hear and see some signs of acceleration recently in consumer confidence numbers, in some of the housing numbers, for instance, and some of even the manufacturing. I cited the Philly Fed yesterday. We know manufacturing is hurting, but some forward-looking indicators showing that things are improving. So it's just hard to reconcile that with what should be happening as a result of the lower rates and the lower employment gains.
Well, some forward-looking indicators might be, but on net, you're still looking at a leading economic index that's down for the past 15 months. And I think when we look at some of the hard data, so even as you saw, at least in terms of some of the headline improvement in like the Philly Fed, if you look at some of the details, new orders, combine it with what's happening with the New York Fed, you're still looking at some deterioration there. And we did see industrial production, manufacturing decline over the past month. So I still think that we're looking at a period of pretty sluggish growth, even as we're maybe not seeing things decelerate quite as much as they did in the first half of the year.
All righty. So,
to get your best.
I don't know, you guys. You guys think there's going to be a soft landing? I don't think there's going to be a soft landing. Let me set up. So we're going to the 5-year break evens. Let me pull up some comments though, real quick, and we'll talk about these comments. And then I'm going to show you guys the 5-year got worse, and so did the inversion. It got worse. Somehow got worse. How did it get worse? That's crazy. Scarlett, I'm proud of you, girl. I'm just saying I'm more proud of you than Dave Ramsey. That's all I was saying. I'm saying it was you. It wasn't him. It was you. Remember that. That's all I'm saying. And then, so here's what Jeff said. He's like, don't not before it's due, pay it when it comes due. So I don't pay it when it comes due, you guys. And the reason is it's just because I put all of my expenses on there. So if I'm saying, this is me personally, if I wait till it's due, it will show my utilization ratio at like 20%. And I don't want it at 20%. I want it as low as possible. So that's why we always pay my credit card before it's due. Personally. And then Scarlett, you're kicking butt, Scarlett. Keep saving, girl. You should be proud of yourself and you should feel empowered. Super proud of you. Just wanted to let you know that. You guys take a look at what Gypsy Tree is saying. I like Gypsy Tree. He brings up, he's a little bit on the other side of the coin in certain subjects, but he definitely, I value some of his comments because it is perspective that we need to pay attention to, because I would agree with him that essentially something's got to break, right? And actually something is going to break. Is it going to be the consumer? Is it going to be commercial real estate, bankruptcies, credit cards, car loans, eviction crisis, Airbnbs, right? What is it going to be? But yeah, I would absolutely say something has to break. And really what we're talking about here, like, okay, here's the thing, guys. When I say recession, and when most people say recession, what we're like, bottom line here, we're saying unemployment. Okay. Unemployment. If unemployment picks up and you can't get a job like we can right now, things will get really bad. However, if somehow the economy can continue not having unemployment with the job growth that we have, the labor market we have, maybe we'll have a chance at a softer landing. But then, the question, then I'm thinking about like, okay, well, what's going on right now? Quantitative tightening, shrinking M2, it's not looking good. Okay, the labor market's still tight, but it's finally starting to show, cracks, but that's important to understand. So the question is like, something's going to break, and then this is what I think is going to happen. Jerome Powell is going to keep us on this path for as long as possible until something breaks, and he has to flip, okay? Right now, he does not have to flip because even though things are messed up, they're functional, all right? So the next thing that happens, he's probably going to flip. So I don't know when the next Black Swan is going to happen, but Black Swan happens, depending on what it is, Jerome Powell pivots, rates go down, obviously, right? So the thing is, though, how long are we going to be in quantitative tightening? Because if he flips too soon and rates go down too soon, and the labor market's still hot, there's still a lack of inventory, that's not going to be good. And that's not going to be good for even the recent homeowners that are paying these astronomical prices. So more than likely something's going to break. And we already saw something break this year. It was banks, specifically regional banks, bank runs. Bank runs like when? 1929, the Great Depression. And we're also losing M2 like the Great Depression. So this isn't 2008, 2007. This isn't the 70s and 80s inflation crisis. This is its own beast right now. So let's go back into the 5-year break even right now. And I want to show you guys now, this is the form that the Fed pays close attention to, the 5-year break even inflation rate. This is going to be, this is already actually listed in my description. If you guys want to follow this now, remember last week, we needed like 1 basis point to get a new low, right? Basically this data would show that the 5-year break even inflation is going down. The Federal Reserve wants this to go down. Okay. If this goes up, the Federal Reserve more than likely will do additional tightening. Okay. So they're monitoring this. This is what the market feels inflation will be like 5 years from now. Now, look at what happened on Friday. Look at this, guys. I mean, Friday and Thursday, look at, so they were so close. Look at how close, you guys. It was at 2.13. It was so close to having, to breaking this low right here and breaking the trend. But instead of it 1 basis point low, it shot up. Look at that, to 2.23%. That's not good. And guess what, you guys? The Fed is meeting this week. And the last time we were that high was, let's see, May. Last time we had that high of the break even was May this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what Jerome Powell says, because this break even inflation report is going up, not down. Very interesting. And look at this, guys. Not only that, take a look at the treasuries. Okay. This is the 2-year and the 10-year inversion. This is our forefathers and history warning us that a recession is coming and that we should prepare. And this is the 1-year outlook. You can't even see the black line. Let me go in the 5-year. All right, let me move my picture one more time. I'm so sorry. So this is the 5-year look of the 10-year and the 2-year. When this inverts, when the 2-year interest rate is higher than the 10-year, it's known as an inversion. And it's shown, basically that black line, you guys see that black line right there? That's the even, okay? So when it goes under that black line, it's known as inversion. So we've been inversion for approximately 1 year. Okay, about 1 year and 2 weeks. The average time that we're inversion before recession is 15 months. Again, we're at 12 and a half months. And I also want to point out this. I will max this out. I tell you guys this almost every single live stream because I think this is super important. Understand that it normally reinverts before entering recession. And if you go back, you guys see the reinversion and then recession. So that's what I'm saying. Something more than likely bad is going to happen. And then this will reinvert because Jerome Powell's like, oh my God, we got to save the economy. We broke it. That reinverts and then recession. So that's probably what's going to happen. This is probably, in my opinion, that's going to stay inverted until whatever the black swan is, that's going to pop its head out and it's going to break things. So when that happens, reinversion, and then rates go down. And again, we want to be really careful. We don't want to see the rates go down too soon, obviously. Now, the next thing we're going to look at, guys, today is we're going to go over the deposits. Okay, so this next video is basically on the deposits for banks. The deposits for banks are important because that's how bank runs happen. And there's a lot of people that were afraid, essentially, that there was going to be a lot more bank runs this year, which is basically a bank run is basically the depositors like me and like you going to a bank and asking for our money back. But the bank doesn't have our money, okay? And then it starts a pandemonium, and then everyone wants their money out, and then they go out of business. So bank runs are really, really, really bad, actually, and we've had many of them this year, the second, third, and fourth biggest one. A lot of people leave that out when they're excited about, talk about the housing market. But here's our next video, you guys, and then we'll go into how to find a great deal.
And David, given the numbers we've seen, let me ask you what Leslie just raised. I mean, is it an all clear sign for investors when it comes to regionals?
Look, I believe the all clear from a failure perspective, we're getting close to that. When you looked at the banks that failed, you were able to analyze them 6 to 9 months ago and say that they had holes in their assets that were underwater that would eliminate their capital if you had to mark all of their assets to assets. We've been through our coverage of more than 130 banks within the Raymond James franchise and several of the other larger banks, and we don't get to that conclusion with any of the other banks. If you mark all of their assets to market, they still have capital, still have tangible book. So I think we're clear there, but I'm not going to bet the house on it.
And what about the larger issue or the larger concern, namely the earnings power of many of these banks, given facing higher deposit costs, still the risk of deposit flight? What have we learned from what we've seen from these quarterly numbers in terms of answering that question?
Sure. Well, deposit competition was very intense in the second quarter, and particularly in June when a lot of banks were looking at or facing quarter end and said, we'd love to show an increase in deposits for the quarter. So that really accelerated the competition in June. I am hearing competition in July has come off a bit, but deposit competition is causing that cost of funds to rise pretty substantially. As you just stated earlier in the segment, these deposits are moving either into higher cost deposits or even off of bank balance sheets into Treasury securities. From a bank perspective, the two biggest headwinds are the rise in costs, moving the funds into CDs, and that are cost much more than your money markets and non-interest bearing. But something we've been talking about for at least 9 months is non-interest bearing deposits. Non-interest bearing deposits, when rates are zero, got up to be 25-30% of deposit mixes. Pre-Great Financial Crisis, that number was in the mid to high teens. I think a lot of banks have, with their guidance, not had a moment where they can say we're going to go back to that level. Most management teams have focused on going back to pre-pandemic, where we were in the mid 20% range in non-interest bearing deposits. As we look forward, we think we're going to go to pre-pandemic levels, and some of the bank or pre-GFC levels. And I think bank management teams are finally starting to come to that realization that non-interest bearing deposits are declining, and we could go back to pre-GFC levels. Look, that was the last time that rates were this high. So depositors are demanding more for their cash.
But haven't we heard? I heard this from Walt at Schwab on the show that is tapering off. That there's been a sort of stabilization in that trend, and it's starting to go the other way.
Absolutely, I've heard the same thing. There has been some stabilization there, but most of the banks I'm talking to are still seeing flows even in non-interest bearing into interest bearing. So that's going to be a bit of a headwind here for the near future. I think this quarter is a big degradation to banking net interest margin. It could be the steepest that we see this cycle, but I'm anxious to see how competition fares out intra-quarter. If you look at the second quarter, the regionals, the small banks were all competing for deposits. Names like Wells Fargo, Bank of America, JP Morgan, we did not hear about them competing for deposits. If they come into the marketplace more aggressively on deposit rates, we're likely to see a pickup in that competition.
All righty. So according to the video, a little bit more health. Sorry about that. We're going to look at a couple of things here, but a little bit. So sorry, guys. All right. Totally lost my train of thought right there. But basically, for now, bank runs seem to be doing okay. All right. And I'm going to show you guys the reverse repo, but I forgot to open this last package right here. Johnny said this one is the best package right here. So I'm going to open this one. I swear, Johnny, if this is what I think it is, I'm not going to be happy. I know, dude. I know it. Johnny, he did it, you guys. I said, didn't I say, Johnny? Didn't I? The first thing I said, you better not send me. Johnny, funny man. I'm going to add that to my toilet paper collection. So anyways, you guys, we're going to move on real quick to this next thing over here, which is the reverse. By the way, Johnny, thank you. I appreciate you. I know everyone has good advice. I don't want to talk trash about everyone, obviously. And there are ways to find a great deal, so I'll give you that. But let's look at this, you guys. This is the reverse repo market. So this is like the one-day treasury. And then I'm going to get to some comments. Oh, Johnny. Dang, I love you, Johnny. Isn't it great we can laugh? Right? Isn't it cool that we can laugh at ourselves? You guys don't stop laughing at yourself. That's why I did that thing with Michael where I'm looking like an idiot, rolling all over the ground at a hotel, so I can laugh at myself, you guys. I don't want my head to get huge. This already happened when I was young and I lost everything, so I don't want it to happen again. But look at the reverse repo market. This is like the 1 month treasury, you guys. It went up on Friday. How did it go up? It went up. That's crazy to me. So the reverse repo market has been like just spewing money, you guys, about 25%, I think, in about 2.5 months has been depleted out of the reverse repo market. Probably going into like 1 month or even up to 2-year treasuries that are yielding potentially more than the reverse repo. But again, guys, very, very interesting that it actually went up. Is that a result of additional deposits from consumers? Maybe. Or what we're seeing is the depositors wanting to keep their money tied up for only 1 day versus the 1 month. I don't know, but it is what it is. Very, very interesting, you guys. Very, very interesting. So let's go on to the last thing right now. Maybe even the most important thing. And I'm going to do the best I can to show you guys this. If you guys can, real quick, if you guys live in Houston, shoot me a subdivision so we could do this next part of the video. All right. So first thing is I need to find a subdivision. Okay. So once I find my subdivision, we'll begin. You guys shoot me a subdivision. What we're going to do, you guys, is now we're going to talk about how to find a great deal. So this is going to be bookmarked at 40 minutes and 30 seconds. Please come back here to check. And also don't forget, don't find the Fed. Come back here if you guys want to know how I'm doing this. This is just a rookie way, if you will, to basically use the data and access a whole bunch of stuff to find a great deal. And what we want to do is we want to find a property right now that has wedge, or you're walking in with equity, okay, and a house that has cash flow, because you want to prepare, in my opinion, you want to prepare for the potential of being forced to sell. And what that means is if you have to be forced to sell, and you can't sell, say your equity goes down, you can rent out your house and you can cash flow on that rental, right? You don't want to be upside down if you're renting your house out as far as monthly cash flow. Generally, you don't want to do that. So that's what we're going to go over today, you guys. I'm going to be accessing, okay, here we go. We got some, I'm going to be accessing, here we go. I'm going to be accessing live MLS data. Okay, let me see. I got some subdivision. Which one was the first one? Oak Forest. Okay. Let's see here. Raw. Okay, so Oak Forest. All right. So we're going to look at Oak Forest, you guys. And here is basically, I'm going to be filling out this form. Let me show you guys real quick. Let me pull that comment off of here. This is the form I'm going to be filling out. Okay, let me take this comment. So we're going to go Oak Forest. Okay. So I'm going to put Oak Forest right here. Oak Forest. And you guys, why are we doing that? We're doing that because we got to go hyper local, and that's the subdivision. I'm sorry, let me move this. That's the subdivision. Remember, real estate, all of real estate is hyper local. I talk about national averages a lot because when I'm doing videos, I'm trying to talk as much of the nation as possible, right? If I was only talking about certain areas, we'd only be talking about certain areas. But remember, when it comes to you want to get hyper locals. And again, we want to go into subdivision. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to be filling this form out. The first thing we want to do is we want to figure out our data, okay? We want to figure out our data because we want to use the data to find the deal. We don't want to use our emotions, all right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to be going into the matrix right now. Now, the matrix is a system that I can use to, excuse me, or any realtor can use to access data. The big thing about MLS, guys, multiple listing service, the advantage that MLS has over Zillow and Redfin and all these places, sold data. That's, to me, it's everything. It is the one thing that makes MLS such a powerful tool as opposed to what public can use, because I can access sold properties. And by accessing sold properties, I can kind of determine value. Okay. And that's how appraisals are done. Appraisals are done by taking comps, sold properties, and then averaging it all and, additions, subtractions. I can actually teach you guys that if you guys want to know. But the first thing we're going to do is we got to figure out the data. So I want to go to the sold part here, and I only want to look at homes that sold in our subdivision of Oak Forest. Do you see that here? Again, if you're a realtor or anyone that wants to learn this is the section of the video that will break this down. So first, again, I have to make this hyper local. I'm only going to do Oak Forest, like one of my viewers said. One of my viewers said Oak Forest. This is what we're using here. So first, I want to see what properties sold in 2001. See how easy this is? So I'm going to go 2001, January to basically, actually I did this wrong, darn it. I have to do these slashes. Okay, so January of 2021, okay, to December 2021. Okay, that gives us, wow, 526 listings in 2021. So let's look at the results. 526 homes sold in 2021 in that subdivision. I'm going to select all of these properties. I'm going to go down to stats. I'm going to hit tabular. Okay, now I have my data. This is actually really crazy. Okay, so that's crazy. Average price per square foot, oh my gosh, sorry. I got a big head. See why I gotta laugh at myself? See how big my head is? Anyways, so what we know is in 2021, I'm so sorry, 2021, the average home sold for $242 a square foot. Do y'all see that? Excuse me. So I'm gonna go back here now, okay? I'm gonna put price per square foot in 2021, and you guys could do the same thing at home, was $242 in 2021, okay? You guys following me? All right, so now we're gonna go back and let's find out what it was for 2022. You guys see how easy this is? Please tell me, someone comment below, tell me how easy this is. This is what your realtor should be doing for you. Again, I'm gonna go back here, but instead of 2021, we're gonna look at 2022. Again, I'm gonna put Oak Forest right here, the subdivision, narrowing down the search. I'm going to do my date range now here, January 1st of 2022 till December 31st of I knew you were going to do that, Johnny. I knew you were going to do that, Johnny, to 2022. And we have now 395 sold homes. So a little bit less sold homes. Let's hit results. I'm going to select all. Remember, select all. I'm going to go to stats, and then I'm going to click tabular. And now I'll have my 2022 data. You guys see how I'm no longer flying blind. We don't know if we're getting a great deal or good deal unless we have the data. So almost universally, that's my response. People are always like, Travis, this is a great deal. And they give me all this stuff, but they never give me the price, right? That's the most important thing. So if you're asking me if it's a good deal and you're leaving out the price, I'm just going to say, no, it's not a good deal. You're leaving out the price. So I'm going to go back here, take a look at this. So it's $262 in 2022. Y'all see that? Now, that's how we figure out wedge. We now want to figure out cash flow. So I got to do an analysis now on rent. Again, you guys, we're talking about purchasing the biggest financial transaction of your lives, right? So just do some research. You guys see what I'm saying? This isn't a bad thing. You guys, everyone should be doing this, and take your time and really review the data. So now I'm going to go, I've reset this up. Okay. So I'm going into my rental MLS. I don't know if you guys knew that. I can also access rented out properties. It's so, you guys, I love MLS. So I'm going to do the same thing that I just did, but instead of sold homes, I'm going to go sold rental homes. The exact same process, you guys. So again, let's put in our subdivision of Oak Forest. Okay, remember, we're narrowing it down. Never forget to narrow it down to the subdivision. And we're going to look at rental data. Okay, rental data from January 2021 to December. So awkward to type like this, like the camera's right in my face. Okay, 2021. Okay, that's the entire data range. There's 154 homes rented out. So that's actually a pretty big subdivision. So 154 homes were rented out in 2021. I'm going to select all, go to stats, hit tabular. It's really this easy. This is so easy. Now, what I'm going to notice here is price per square foot adjusted is what I want. 100, dang, this is a really nice subdivision. $1.48 a square foot. This is a really nice subdivision. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. Okay, I'm going to put, what is it? So for 2021, $1.48 a square foot. Okay, guys, this is so easy. We're going to go back here now. We're going to get our 2022. I'm literally doing an entire market analysis live right now. I mean, it's literally that easy. So I'm going back to the rental matrix, and now I want to look at 2022 data. So I'm just, again, same thing, you guys, putting the date range here, December to December 2022. Don't forget to put the subdivision right here. Why do I keep forgetting this? Oak Forest. I really want to go out to Oak Forest, to be honest with you. I don't know. I mean, it's really nice. I don't know why. All right. So in 2022, 147 homes were rented out in the subdivision. Let's hit results. Select all, hit stats, and then tabular. And then we're going to see our 2022 average is $1.56. Okay. Then we're going to go here, like that. And then we're going to put $1.56. Okay. So we now have our data. I know it takes a little bit longer to get our data, you guys, but we can use this data now to find a deal, or at least the beginning processes of finding that deal. So what I'm going to do now is We're going to go back to MLS, and I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing so you can follow along. We're going to go back to MLS. So I'm going to go to search for single family residence, and I'm going to go into that subdivision because remember, we looked at Oak Forest. Okay. So I'm putting an Oak Forest right there. You see that? And we're going to look at all of the active listings. Let's hit results. Okay. This is step one, you guys. So here are all of the active listings for the subdivision we just reviewed. Remember, the first thing that I'm going to do with this list is I'm going to categorize this by price per square foot so that I know what's selling for the lowest price per square foot first. Look at this, guys. This is crazy. All right. So we know, again, going back here, take a look here. Okay. We know that in 2022, the average home sold for for $262 a square foot. Okay. So in 2022, average home sold for $262 a square foot. That's crazy, right? Isn't that crazy to you guys? Now look at this. Look at how many houses are under $262 a square foot. This is insane. This entire first page might have wedge in it because every single house on this entire first page, more information has to be given, obviously, but this is one of the first steps. This entire first page is selling for well under $260 a square foot. Look at that. That's 25 listings. This is an interesting subdivision. I am doing this blind, you guys. And then we have 3 more. So we have 28 of the 81 listings that are selling for under 2022. Do you guys see that? It stops right here at $249 a square foot. Do y'all see that? Is that crazy or what? All right, so let's go back here. We're going to look at the first property right here. Let's see. Ooh, that one's interesting. Okay, so this right here, you guys, this first property right here, cheapest price per square foot. You see that? $117 a square foot, okay? So I'm going to click that listing. And let's take a look at it first. Look at this is not even that bad. Ooh, there's a sales drop of $10,000. Ooh, that happened yesterday. So there's a sales drop yesterday of $10,000. Price per square foot, as you can see, $117 a square foot. Take a look at the house. It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it needs to, maybe some touch up and stuff, but do you guys see how easy it can be? So now the next things we have to do is we have to fill this out because we're going to take this property and we're going to use it to see how much wedge there is, and we're going to use it to see if we can cash flow. So I'm going to go back here, excuse me, and we're going to start. I'm so sorry, you guys. We're going to start filling this out. So the first thing is the sales price is $259,900. Okay. The square footage is 2,212 square feet. We need this to calculate rent. Okay, that's why we have that. And I'm going to go back here and I'm going to see where the taxes are real quick. I want to figure out what my taxes are. Here we go. Taxes right here. See that? Do never forget those taxes. $5,148. Okay. So $5,148. Again, we need to calculate the payment. We need to calculate cash flow. So we need the yearly taxes. This is yearly taxes. Okay. So far, so good, right? So far, so easy. You guys with me so far? Okay. So we found a home in the subdivision that a viewer suggested. We've done our market analysis in 13 minutes. We have 2-year market analysis on the subdivision for rentals and sold properties. That took 12 minutes, you guys, and I was stuttering a little bit and super nervous. So another realtor should be able to do that much faster, okay? But what we have to do now, again, let me show you where we're at, okay? This is what we're looking like, okay? This is how we found our great deal. This data on the top here, okay? Without this data, we can't find it. Now that we have the sales price, taxes, and square footage, what we're going to do is calculate the payment and potential rent. How do we do that, you guys? I'm going to tell you, don't worry. This is how we do that. We just go to, all right, I'm going to show you guys from scratch, okay? So now I want to come up with a payment. All I got to do is call my loan officer, right? Because we should be pre-qualified already. So I'd be calling my loan officer. My loan officer would do their job and they would run the numbers. And then after they run the numbers, they would rerun my file through automated underwriting. But if your loan officer doesn't pick up, this is what we'll do. We're going to go to mortgage payment calculator. Okay. Scroll down here to mortgage payment calculator. We're going to check this box where it says include taxes and insurance. Now, we have our sales price, right? You guys remember what our sales price was? Boom, it's right there, $259,900. Okay, so I'm going to put $259,900 in here. Right now, remember my strategy. I want to put 10% down on my house, so I'll just put 10% down. This is my strategy. I'm also going to pay all of the mortgage insurance up front. That probably cost me $5,000 to $6,000. I'll deduct that on my taxes. I don't care. I got a tax deduction, but my monthly overhead is lower. So in this scenario, excuse me, we're going to do a 10% down payment, paying all the PMI up front. Now I have to adjust my property taxes. I have that. You guys remember what property taxes are? There's a method to my madness. You see what I'm doing here? Property taxes are $5,148 a year. So I'm going to go back here. Isn't this easy? $5,148. See this? See how easy this is? And then I'm going to increase the insurance to like $1,500. Okay. I have my purchase price in there. So I'm all set up, you guys. Look at that. I'm all set up. And you can play with credit if you want. But the first thing that I know, I literally live on YouTube, I just calculated my payment. And did a market analysis for 2 years in less than 15 minutes, I think. So we're going to go back here, and I'm going to put my payment, $2,212. Okay? So now I have a lot of necessary information to start bringing up my calculator. So we're going to bring up the calculator now, and I'm going to start filling this form out and showing you guys basically what to do. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to calculate rent. Okay, so I want to calculate rent right here. Now, how do I do that, you guys? Pretty easy since we just filled this form out. All I do to calculate rent is I take 2022 average rent, $1.56 a square foot, and I multiply that by the property square footage. That's it to calculate my rent. Now, you guys know that I like to obviously take 75% of the median rent just to be extra super safe, but I'm not going to do that for this video. We're just going to take this calculator real quick, and I'm going to do the math on this. So I'm going to take, again, $1.56 a square foot times the square footage of the house. This neighborhood is running for crazy. This is crazy. That's crazy, right? That's crazy right there, you guys. So again, average rent going off of 2022 numbers. Okay, we're going to go back here now. I'm going to put, it's normally not like that. This just so happened to be a really good property. Normally it's way closer than this. This is a huge gap. Okay. So what do we have here? What did I just show you guys? I showed you guys approx on the property that a viewer just gave us. You guys, this is cool because this is cash flowing. Oh my God. This is crazy. Anyways, we got to fix the house up, right? We still got to fix the house up, but I'm gonna go look at this house. Honestly, this is crazy. But anyways, our mortgage payment's $2,200. Okay, we could rent out our house potentially for $3,450. What does that mean, you guys? That means we have cash flow if we have to sell our house of how much? Cash flow. Okay, gross cash flow. This is cash flow gross. All right. I'm telling you guys, like only in Texas does this happen. Like if we did this in California, this would be a negative number. Y'all, you guys, this is insane. The cash flow on that bad boy would be $1,238 a month. That's freaking really good. That's really good. That's really good cash flow, actually. The cap rate on that house would be like 11 to 12%. That's a phenomenal one. But let's also do wedge. Okay, so first of all, this is passing all of the smell test here. We got massive cash flow if we have to rent out the house, but let's figure out wedge. How do we figure out wedge, you guys? So again, this is approximate. Okay, so what I'm going to do is this is approximate. Okay, I want to make this a point for any appraisers that are listening. I understand this is not how appraisal value is created. I know that because I teach appraisals to realtors all the time, so I understand how value's made. Okay, but for the sake of this, we're using price per square foot. So the way we determine if there's wedge, we take the price per square foot of 2022, which is $262, and we multiply that once again by the square footage of the house. So let's see if there's any wedge. Again, this is approximate, you guys. There's more ways to do this. All right, let me do this. I'm getting better at that. All right, so we're going to take the $262 a square foot times the square footage of the house, which is 2,212. That's crazy. Y'all see what we're working with here? 500. This is a crazy subdivision. This is a crazy subdivision. This is absolutely crazy subdivision. It was $262, right? How the heck is this property? Let me look at this property one more time. This is way low. Why is this property being sold for so low? Okay, well, let's go back here. I mean, I'm just like blown away right now. Okay, let's go back and look at this. Okay. Again, this is insane. Normally it's not like this, guys, but okay, when we multiply the 262, okay, right here, by the square footage, this is what we get. Oh, under my picture. Okay. $579,544. Okay. In order to figure out the wedge now, we take that 579,000 subtracted. Let me switch my cameras. Okay, minus the sales price of 259,900, 319,000. Okay, so that means, again, this is a really crazy example. I'm telling you guys, it's nowhere near this crazy, but that means we would be potentially walking into a house that had, okay, $319,000 in wedge. That's an interesting proposition right there. So if it's me and I'm an investor or a homeowner, like I'm walking that property and I'm seeing how much it's going to take to get that up to code so that I can, we looked at the house. It's a little bit outdated, but my God, like this is one of the most, like this example I just gave you guys right here. It doesn't get better than that. Okay, but I want to make a point that out of all of the market analysis that I've done over the last 2 years, I have never found a deal like that. I've never found a deal like that in the last 2 years. That the wedge on there was insane. The cash flow, $1,200. So, again, I'm going to do a lot more. If I'm going to buy that house or if I'm interested in that house, I'm doing a lot more research. I'm going out to see what other models there are, what other builders, like why is there such a discrepancy? So again, like the first thing I'm thinking is like, this is too good to be true, but at least there's enough meat on the bone to do more investigation. But anyways, guys, that is how you find a great deal with just using simple, easy price per square foot. I've got a lot of people asking how I do that. And again, there's so much more that goes into value than price per square foot, but I did want to show you how to do that. We did do it like that was super fast. We did that in about 20 minutes. This is, this is what you guys could do on your own. So those numbers are pretty crazy. So let me see real quick. We got anything else? Must be mold, could be. Okay, Luke, the numbers do not. How do they not work, Luke? Can you give us a little bit something else other than it does not work? Let's see. Sean and Wendy, good morning to you guys. Thank you for joining me. Sean and Wendy, go back and watch this video. Johnny sent me all kinds of troll books today. He almost got me triggered. But that's it, you guys. That's just trying to give you guys some empowerment, trying to give you guys some education. We talk a lot more than just about headlines. I think the headlines are important to understand, like the eviction, the bankruptcies, the unaffordability, understanding also foreclosures are super low. So, don't fall into that completely. Now I did do 2 videos before I did this one. I did one video on the new foreclosure data. So I'm bringing all that foreclosure data up. And then the second video I did, my second video is crazy. I basically showed you guys what people can afford making $100,000. So I pulled up like New York, California, and Texas to see what $100,000 can get. And it's trash, you guys. It is so bad. So hope you guys like that. Johnny, it's not the books that matter to me, man. It is the token of your generosity that means so much to me, because I know if you didn't care, you just wouldn't have done anything. So I love you too, Johnny. But did you like how I trolled you back in the beginning? Did you at least like how I held up that $2,000 lens and acted like that's what you got me? Did that mean anything to you? Did you appreciate that? Thought that was creative. You guys don't know how hard it was to set that up. So you guys couldn't see me. But anyways, guys, definitely appreciate you. Have a great weekend. What's remaining of it, I'm going to try to do as many lives as I can next week. I'm probably only going to be able to sit in front of you guys for 2 times next week, but I'll do the best I can to stay on top of this market. Do not forget how important next week is. And also, do not forget how important you are. And other than that, guys, if you're out there investing in real estate, I wish you luck. And obviously, I hope you win.